Hello, this is Sandra Pelli, the Sandini. I have a really exciting treat for you today. I'm just going to put it onto myself for just a moment, and then I'll bring on our guest. You may have caught a glimpse of her just then. I'm going to do something really special with her just after I introduce her, but because it goes in line with who she is. So let me introduce her first of all. Keira Lani. Keira Lani helps healers unlock their unique gifts and develop a strong energy alignment practice that supports a sustained and joyful practice. She connects people with their own true nature through connection to nature. Her clients reclaim their power, own their value, and serve their true purpose. With more than 15 years' experience as a healing arts practitioner, Keira Lani is the founder of Tree Gong Healing and the creator of the Healer's Journey to Mastery, which offers the ultimate healer's toolbox. To, to overflow with energy, heal from within to heal others, and create a sustainable practice both online and in person. Keira has been a lifelong spiritual seeker and energy awareness practitioner. She has dedicated her life to exploring esoteric philosophy and the healing movement arts. As a young woman, she discovered her gift of tree communication, which blossomed into a direct connection with spirit guidance. After training for decades in multiple modalities, Keira Lani combines ancient self-healing arts with scientific body knowledge to create a powerful transformational experience. She bravely explores her inner landscape and shadow self so that she can guide you on your, not her, on your inner journey. So let me bring her on camera so that you can see who she is. This beautiful, powerful woman. I've known her for a number of years. I believe it's probably about 3 years now. And we actually have had an interview before as well together. And it's so incredible to have watched our personal growth together on this journey. And we keep crossing paths and coming together and flowing through the energies of everything. And so before I do the other thing that I would like to do with you, I'd just like you to say, first of all, a hello to everybody, please, Keira.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Sandra. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yes, truly my pleasure. The what I wanted to do with everybody is that I just wanted to do a real quick a one card draw, meaning that I'm pulling a card that is going to help each of you settle into the energy of this beautiful interview that we're doing in this sacred space, in this beautiful container, so that you're in this state of being, of here and now. And I'm using the Soul Trees deck, a magical deck that I found on Instagram by that name, Soul Trees. And believe it or not, the card that's coming through is intuition. So just feeling into the energy and the power of this card and the intuition, and how much that even though you may be unaware that you're doing things intuitively, you truly are. And this incredible interview with Keira is going to really help to bring that home to you in a different way, because she is so magical. She truly is so magical, and her toolbox is full of things that you are going to be able to use. So, Keira, I open the floor to you. I see you got your deck out too. So,
And I was like, oh, we're pulling cards. How fun. I kind of like when I get on an interview or a call with someone and she pulls a card, then I pull a card because they always kind of go together. And I pulled number 13, The Power of Attraction. This is from Alana Fairchild's Sacred Rebels Oracle. And I love this Power of Attraction card. I have pulled it before. And so when you tune into this, it's showing like a pair of lovers, but there are so many ways that we call in what it is that is for our highest soul purpose.
mm,
And I really feel like this blending of the intuition with that strong setting of an intention of what you would like to call in, and then asking that intuition to be your guide to what is the next step that will take you in that direction you want to go. So, whether it is that you want to call in a soulmate relationship or success in your business, or just clarity in knowing that you're here on your purpose, I really invite everyone watching this to just take a moment to drop into what is your intuition calling you to, and what is it that your heart's desire is calling you to attract into your life. And we actually, I didn't know, we planned this interview so suddenly and just jumped on. I didn't even realize until this morning that we were planning this for the new moon. And so we are right now on the new moon in Libra. And so this is a really powerful time for you to set that intention for yourself, whatever that may be. That, and I really like to invite myself, my friends, and my clients to go with that first thing that comes to you. Whatever that is, don't second guess yourself, because whatever that first thing is, it's almost like it's like ripe and ready to be picked. And we're in we're in the season of autumn, which is the harvest season, and also the time of letting go. I was really thinking about this today, how right now is both the time to harvest everything that you have grown over this last year. And I kind of think of the beginning of this as the season of spring. And so we have our new year in one sense. There are many opportunities to look at the new year, but we kind of started this cycle that we're harvesting from now in March. And this is when this big pandemic situation came to our continent and completely changed our lives. And what can you harvest from that time that you have spent sheltering in place, or finding out, how can I visit people and still feel safe? How can I continue to grow my business and bring it online if you weren't already? And so tuning into what you can harvest right now, what you can let go of, what maybe isn't working, what is clearly has not been working over this last year that you can now let go of. And I was sharing with Sandra before we came on here, I have really been in a process the last couple months of really looking at what is truly mine to share. So I'd love to invite you all into this space with me of really looking at what is mine that I would like to carry forward as we move into the winter season, the time of going within and contemplating. And this new moon in Libra, Libra is the judge, the balance, the balancer of the scales. And so as you're looking at what am I harvesting, what am I letting go of, what am I moving forward with that is truly mine to carry, this is a really powerful energy alignment opportunity to plant that seed within yourself. Set that intention for the next 28-day cycle. And I know Mars is also retrograde in its own sign of Aries right now. And so it's kind of an interesting energy of let's go, no wait, let's go, no wait. Because Mars in Aries is like, go, time to start something new. And then Mars in retrograde is time to wait and reflect and take a step back. And so I really feel like the combination of these cards is really speaking to all of these things. I had no idea I was going to pull in all of these different ideas right now. So hopefully you're following the through line with me, because I know I'm kind of throwing a lot of information at you right off the bat.
Yes, we are. And you know what? We're really in the year of perfect vision 2020. And we spoke, you and I, just before we came on camera, and we were talking about how I was doing things and you were doing things, and so many of our interests and our abilities and ways of helping people are so similar because of our desire to help people, and yet they're so absolutely different in their own aspects as well. And it's so true. We've been stepping into this in a holy cow, let's get going, and then literally almost feeling as though a hand has been stopping us, because we really need to step into that state of being. And whatever that state of being is in any case, it could be that forward motion, it could be in that stopping it and letting whatever unfold. I love what you said about setting an intention. You know, as I mentioned, this is the year of perfect vision, and really honing in on what is important for yourself. You know, because of what's been going on in the world, we have really started to shift gears and focus on things in a far different manner. We're starting to recognize that going out and earning money or earning a wage in the old way is a different reality now. We're stepped into such an incredibly different reality. So do you want to maybe speak a little bit about what's the direction that you're going in? What are the shifts that you have noticed for yourself with regards to your business or your life right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as I alluded to, I'm really tuning into what is truly mine to share. Um, as Sandra, as you shared in my bio, I've been studying these ancient wisdom practices literally my entire life. Since I was a young child, I started with yoga and meditation. And I've just throughout my life been called to continue to study the ways that other people have entered into these realms. And so now I have such a full tool bag that sometimes I feel overwhelmed with everything that I can teach. And so as I entered into this business, I was very much like, how can I put all of these things together like a puzzle and make them make sense as one? And I've been successfully doing that. But more recently, I've really been more tuned into what I came here with already before I ever learned all of the things that I learned in this life is really the true gift that I have to give. And this is what I would like to evoke for my clients, is that you will be connected to what is truly yours to share here. And how do all of the things that you learn enhance that gift rather than getting lost in the modalities and the tools? How can I distill my essence into the pure offering? And so I'm really in a space, I forget the words you used, but it's similar to what you were saying earlier, Sandra. I'm really in a space of listening and allowing what is coming through me to come through as it does. I'm not so much trying to figure it out, because when we try to figure it out with our brain, we kind of just get lost and confused. And so I really encourage anyone who is kind of in that state. I meet a lot of people who are in this state of like, I know I'm here for something greater and I just don't know what it is. And often you do know, it's just that you don't know it here. You know it more here, or even like here in the back of the heart. And so to learn to really listen to that part of you is becoming probably the most important part of my work. And because my first Qigong teacher was a tree, and also my early playmates were largely trees. um, I have a really strong connection to communication with nature. And I'm realizing that that points to my gift to connect my clients to their true nature, in the sense of learning to communicate with your true self, to communicate as your true self. So this has it's hard sometimes to put words to how this changes my work, because if you come to my classes and workshops, I may be covering similar material, but I'm really dropping into that essence of me and what is it that I am here to share, and allowing myself to be guided by that intuition. So it's so perfect that Sandra pulled the tree of intuition, and because it really is such an important, it could be the most important thing that you can learn, to really listen, and to listen not with your ears alone, not with just your brain and your thoughts, but to listen with all of you, with your entire body, with your emotional body, as well as your mental body. And of course, to really listen with your spiritual being, who is connected to that greater consciousness, the global consciousness, the universal consciousness, the infinite source consciousness. And when we have that guidance and we allow the space to listen, because sometimes impatience gets in the way. Sometimes we're like, okay, I asked, now I want the answer. So where is it? Then we can really step into the truth of who we are, and really live that mission that we chose to come here to pursue.
I just really wanted to hone in on a couple of things that you've said there, because I'm wondering if people are truly catching how similar you and I are, but that we're coming at this from our own perspectives, which is so magical. You have been involved with trees for so very long. The power of trees is absolutely magnificent. The connection that the tree's roots have in the ground. This is something I teach in my classes as well, and that I really drive home to my clients, is this brain and the heart, and finding that balance in it. And myself, when I'm out on my mountain bike, I'm constantly touching the trees and putting my hands on them and feeling the energy of them and loving the nature. And I know the people who are watching this over on whatever mediums that they're watching it on, whatever social media they're watching it on right now, they're resonating as well, because they are feeling into the energy of what's been going on around their lives, and truly understanding that it is going core deep, really core deep, and really starting to understand who you are at a far different level, and really starting to understand that it's about the self and how to step forward into the power of that self. And your tree gong, I know we're highlighting the tree gong, but you also have other things. You have a signature program right now, isn't that correct?
I do. And Tree Gong is kind of the umbrella of everything I do. I think of Tree Gong as the blending of the ancient wisdom, the modern science, and the true connection with nature. And and so my signature program is called The Healer's Journey to Mastery. And this is a year-long journey that we take. The next opportunity to join will be in January. And in this year-long journey, we really gather the tools that allow us to go deeper into this connection with our own true nature, with our purpose here on the planet. And we gather the skills and the tools to be able to bring those gifts to the world in a way that makes sense. And so there's a lot of sharing what I've learned, like I said, as well as just sharing who I am and how I use these tools, which is really the important part, to connect to what I'm here to bring, and for you to connect to what you're here to bring. And so there are so many layers to this journey, which ends up being largely a journey of you to a greater understanding of you. But it also is a journey of learning how to connect to the energy fields of others, to be able to utilize your gifts for healing, to be able to understand the way that energy moves through the anatomy, to so we learn basic foundational energy anatomy alongside practices to align your energy, alongside practices to help another to align their energy. And And we also meet in live retreats, which hasn't actually happened this year, only partly because of COVID, more because of fires here in the Southern Oregon, Northern California region. But it will be happening next year, that we will be also meeting live so that we can have hands-on experiences with connecting with each other's energy, as well as connecting with the trees and the energy of the trees, and to really learn how to heal with the trees is an extraordinarily powerful practice. And the trees are calling us into deeper connection for the healing of the planet. And so my work is, yes, about you connecting to you, but it's really for those of you who feel really called to be a part of healing the planet, to be part of that frontline force that is reunifying the consciousness field so that we can all ascend together, for lack of a better word.
I love that. I just want to kind of dial it back a bit. And it's really interesting that I'm using the word dial it back, because we have this beautiful ability within ourselves to really step into the energy of empowering ourselves. And sometimes we make those steps backwards as well. And when we're making those steps backwards as well, it's very much because of our head and what's going on with that. And what's happening in that moment is that we have all these thoughts, this monkey mind, this mind chatter going on in our heads. And I personally, I believe you do the same, is we really emphasize the going into the heart space, to that overbalancing, because so often we're so in our head that our heart is left out. And we want to really at first overbalance into our heart space so that we can really truly rediscover, first of all, the joy and passion that's going on in our own lives for ourselves, as well as the understanding of how important we are. Because when we start to understand how important we are at a very deep level, then we can bring some balance back into that. So how can we use the trees to go into our heart space a little bit more profoundly? I know, like I said, I actually am physically touching trees outside. I also imagine this beautiful space that I go to in Cuba, this specific tree that I sit under, and I use that as part of a meditation. What do you recommend to the people who are listening here? Because one of the questions that's coming through is, do you have tools you use to listen? So how can we use the trees in this manner, or whatever other tool that you might have?
Oh, I love this question about using the trees to connect to our heart space. And I also love that you mentioned that we don't have to actually be touching the trees, although it helps at first when you have once you have created that strong connection. The trees and I are really encouraging you to take that connection with you, especially if you live in a place without many trees. Now, if you think of a tree, if you can imagine a tree as if it's like floating in front of you so you can see all of it, because a large part of the tree is underground, right? The roots. Now, if you think of the shape of a tree with the trunk, the branches, and the roots, this shape is mirroring the shape of our energy field, our toroidal field of energy, which is also the shape of the Earth's energy field. And this toroidal field of energy, which is your largest, most expansive energetic field, is generated by your heart. This is your heart field. And the tree doesn't have the same kind of physical heart that you have, but the tree still has a heart field. And so when you connect with the tree, if you can bring your awareness into your heart and sense, so maybe we can even do this right now, just to kind of take this into an imagination of what this feels like. So using the breath, feel the breath, the inhale, expand the space around your heart. The lungs are right around the heart, so this is a pretty easy part of the imagination. Feeling the breath, expand that space to the sides and the back of the body, as well as the front. And then as you continue to breathe, see if you can feel that expansion continue. So it's centered at your heart. It expands to the front, the sides, the top, and the bottom, expanding a little bit more with each breath, softening any places that feel tight with each exhale. And each time you inhale, that heart space is growing a little bit larger until it is encompassing your entire body. And then perhaps you can feel it growing even larger until it is filling up the space around you. And now imagine yourself as if you were a tree. What do your branches look like? What do your roots feel like? How is your trunk supporting you? And what does the breath feel like in the form of a tree? Remember, each time that you inhale, you are breathing in the out breath of a tree. Each time you exhale, you are offering the gift of breath back to that tree. So now imagining your favorite tree. Sandra talked about a tree in Cuba. I have my grandpa's cedar that lives on the land I grew up on. Many others that could come to mind. So whichever tree comes to your mind first, imagine that tree before you. Take in the beauty, the full shape of this tree, the shape of the branches, shape of the trunk, the roots beneath the earth. And as you continue to breathe with this tree, imagine you can sense, feel, or see the energy exchange between you and the tree. Imagine it as if the energy were flowing from the roots of the trees, from the roots of the tree, through your roots, up through your trunk, out through your crown, and showering back down through the crown of that tree, creating a circuit of energy with your breath. See if you can feel the way that the tree is receiving your energy, even as you are feeling the way it is to receive the energy of the tree. And now tune into your heart space again. And listening from your heart, what does this tree have to share with you in this moment? Allow it to come in whatever form it comes. It may be words of wisdom, it may be images, thoughts, or feelings. And then take a moment to thank the tree for this energy exchange and whatever was shared with you through that. And receive the gratitude back from the tree. And then energetically take a step back, gathering your energy back to you. If you like, you can take the arms wide and down through the center, as if grounding your own energy back into your body. Coming back into the space you're in. If you feel like you want to take note of something that came through, please do. That can be very valuable.
That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Keira. A lot of emotion came up during that, and I'm going to ask you to give your perspective on that, because most of the people who are in my group, my tribe, truly know what my take is on that, but I'll ask you in just a moment. I know for myself, um, when I was tapping into this tree, yes, it's the one in Cuba, but yes, it's also the red cedars that I've seen, the massive red cedars. I had this incredible vision of a family. Uh, this is a picture that I remember of a station wagon my dad had, and that it was literally in the middle of this massive tree in California when we had gone down there in, I believe it was 76, to go to Disneyland, and we went through this area that had this great big massive tree. So just feeling into the energy of these trees. And as you were talking, I felt the energy flowing up through my feet, and this very strong connection, as though it was going through the meridian lines, the veins, the arteries within my very physical body, the meridians being the energetic soul within me as well. And every step as I was taking, I could feel that I was always connected to these trees. And as I mentioned, the emotion was coming up. And I know what that means, what that means for me, and what it means when I tell people that I work with. But what does that emotion mean when I'm in an emotional state, when I'm doing a process with you? What does that mean for the people who are listening?
Mm. So for me, when I do a process and emotion comes up, I know that I'm moving a lot of energy. One, I know that I'm connecting to something deeper. And it's very interesting as well because we were talking about the heart field here. And one thing I didn't mention that is, I think, just fascinating is, if you, I don't know if you're aware of the Heart Math Institute, but they did a study, or are probably still in process of this study as far as I know, where they are measuring the heart field of the trees, and how, not only how does my heart field respond to a tree, but how does the tree's heart field respond to you? And so I'm sensing that there's something deeper than just, oh, because you had emotion, you were moving energy, or because you had emotion, you were connecting to an experience that is really meaningful to you. Those things are both true. I also am sensing that you were connecting to the energetic emotions of the trees, that you were connecting to something deeper with the trees themselves, sharing with you how much they love you. And I know when another human looks at me and shares with me how beautiful I am or how much they enjoy being in my presence, it often brings a lot of emotion. And that's what I'm sensing is coming through right now, is that the trees really wanted you to know how much they love and appreciate you, and that evoked some emotion. And let me know if that resonates for you.
Wow. Yes, in a massively huge way. I tend to walk in awareness in a very profound way, probably far deeper than a lot of people do. So what you're saying makes absolute sense to me. And I love that because it's that give and take. I give and I take from the trees, um, but that awareness of just how much deeper that relationship actually is, that's magical. That's magical. Holy cow. Like that's a whole new perspective. Thank you so much for that. Wow. If anybody that's watching or listening to this, watching the replay, listening to this in the future, you know You can find Keira Lani in many different places on social media. Keira, would you like to say to the group?
About finding me, or just in general?
Let's go with in general first, and then
Okay.
we'll go over to the to
Okay.
whatever from there.
Oh, well, you know, what's coming to me right now is to really return to this card that I drew at the beginning of the call, the power of attraction. And the number 13 has a very special meaning for me. And it's also a number 4, which it's like the magic number 13 turns into the foundational number 4. And I love that. But what was coming to me about that for you out there, whoever's watching this live or on the replay or listening while you're doing the dishes or however it is that you're absorbing this interview, um, I really want to invite you to follow that spark of attraction, that, and really recognize the power that that is. Because whatever your heart is calling you to, whatever is your heart's desire, is actually leading you to your purpose here on the planet. And you know, I'm not just talking about, oh, I feel like having some chocolate cake right now. I'm talking about those big visions and dreams that come to you, those things that you've always wanted for yourself, that you always felt like you were meant to do. And maybe, I know this is true for many of us, maybe those dreams got shattered in some way when you were young and you were disillusioned with this idea that, oh, I actually have to live in the real world, which is really so much more than what we are taught as children. And so I really invite you to follow that spark. And so if something that I shared with you today is speaking to that part of you, that deep longing to connect more fully to who you truly are, and you're feeling like I may be someone that can offer you something on that journey to assist you, please feel free to reach out to me, because I know that Sandra has something unique for you. I have something unique for you. It may be that you need wisdom from both of us to really find your own true wisdom and your own truth. And so I really invite you to follow those sparks and know that you are never shown the whole journey in one view, or when you are, it's such a brief flash that you still have to come back to what's the next step. So ask your heart wisdom, what is the next step for me? And follow it, and that next step will lead you to the next. And I'm so excited to hear from some of you how this time that we spent together may have touched you, and what you may have received that is helping you on your journey.
That was beautiful. I really want to say thank you for bringing up the card again. And this is one of those points that I want to make. Intuition. It was the card that was drawn by myself for the group. And I was feeling the need to show it to you. And here, Keira felt the same need as well, to re-show you the card of intuition. I think that's really important to understand, that the things that she was speaking about, you guys know this, you've heard this, feel this wisdom that's coming through on this conversation that we're having with you. We're not having it to you or at you, we're having this conversation with you. If you have these things, these memories, these ideas, these passions popping up in your heart, popping up in your thoughts, write them down. You know what? If you have this incredible dream, you need to put it to voice, put it to paper, because these are the steps that help you to start to move forward. Okay. And for those of you who are feeling this expansion in your heart, sometimes you can actually feel it in the breath that you're taking. You could actually feel how your shoulder blades move back when you're taking that breath. as you're expanding that heart space. And some of you may be feeling this push or this pain in the back of your heart. And that too is the opening of the heart chakra in the back. And I'm just going to let Keira talk a little bit more about that as we slowly start to gather our sense of being in this state of being, stepping into the energy of the intuition, the passions, the joys, the connection to the trees. Okay, go ahead, Keira.
Oh, well, I love how you brought in the back of the heart as you were speaking. One thing that I felt important to share, some of you may already be aware of this, but the back of the heart is also where your wings grow. And so these energetic wings, remember I described the toroidal field comes up and out. You can kind of use that image to feel where your wings grow. And so the more you can bring your energy into your back body, the more you will connect with your superpowers, with your wings growing, with your ancestral wisdom connections. And the back of the heart often ends up really constricted, especially from spending hours, starting as children, spending hours at a desk writing, getting more and more contracted. And then we end up with desk jobs when we grow up, and we end up getting more and more contracted. And so it may take time to soften the back of your heart enough to feel that opening and to allow your wings to come forth. But you really do have energetic wings, and these wings have so many applications for healing, for expansion, for flight, for I love how you spoke about dreams. Dream journeying is a very powerful way to connect more deeply to who you truly are. And Sandra and I are here to guide the earth angels. I really am only using that term to really stress this image of you and your wings coming into your fullness, into your full capability to navigate this multidimensional reality that we live in. So I that is what wanted to come through in relation to the back of the heart.
I love that. I actually, in part of my program, I actually walk the clients through a process so that they can feel the energy of their angel wings and embrace themselves with their energy wings. But I love the terminology that you use, that it was the energy wings. A lot of people have a hard concept of feeling that they are worthy of having angel wings, and being able to feel the worth of having an energetic wing versus an angel wing may be what they need, rather than feeling into the energy of having angel wings. So I really appreciate that you brought that forward for myself as well as for anybody listening, because I think that really puts things on a clearer level for those of us who are on a different headspace, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's why I really like to bring in the scientific correlations, because that helps when we're struggling with the doubt. Is this real? I'm having this experience, but I'm not sure if it's real. And so a lot of the time I bring in things like that, like, oh, this is your heart field. This is how it's connected to your energetic wings, or this is your fascia. This is how you can light up your physical being and turn on your light, because we actually have real scientifically based technologies in our bodies that do these things. It's not just all out here in the esoteric realms. And I'm really about bringing it down to earth, because that's where we actually do our work and make a difference. So thank you for that acknowledgement.
Wow, this conversation has been absolutely magical. Just like every time we get together, it just magic seems to happen, and we had known each other for roughly about 3 years, like I mentioned. When we saw each other in person, it was like we took our relationship to another whole level. And I think it's really important to understand is when you start to see yourself at each of these different points, at each of these different aspects, like have been speaking about the brain, and we're speaking about the heart. When you start to see how you're reacting to things in these different spaces, that's where change really starts to occur, because we have been raised to live in our brain, and now we are kind of reversing that way of thinking, that thought process, and going into our heart space. And this conversation that we've been having with Keira has really been very, very enlightening and so very, very powerful. Any last words that you'd like to add to this conversation before we wind up?
Yeah, I love what you just shared about how our connection has blossomed, and so I think this is also an important piece to stress for all of you out there, that you have many soulmate connections here on this planet, and the evolution of them is an important part of your journey. And so when Sandra or I has a group program, for instance, you're not only being attracted to us as the teacher, you're also being attracted to the others who are simultaneously coming in, so that you can learn from each other. And that's actually how Sandra and I first met, was in somebody else's Facebook challenge. And then we got onto a Zoom call or a Facebook Messenger call, I forget which, and had a chat. And it's just been unfolding from there. And I absolutely agree. When I unexpectedly got to see you in the flesh, it was such an important part of my journey at that time to connect with you. And so to hear that reflected back to me from your side as well, and then to have to finally be here on this interview that we set the intention for back then, a year ago in March.
Yeah.
So, and so this is also a testament to allowing things to unfold as they do, and to notice. And it's not like, don't be impatient, because I know that just makes you more impatient. Like when I say don't think of a pink elephant, then you're like, well, how can I not think of a pink elephant now? So when you're impatient, just say, oh yeah, it's okay, that just means that I know I'm on the right track. I really want to get there, I really want to be there now. And and then say, okay, well, what's my next step, so I can feel like I'm going there. And don't worry if you're impatient, because that's okay, but know at the same time that it is happening. You are on your way. You just, the fact that you listened to this interview is a testament to, a very clear testament to that fact. You are on your journey already. You are going where you're meant to go. It is happening.
Powerful, powerful words. Yes, exactly. And how can people find you, Keira?
Well, I'm very easy to find on Facebook, Keira Lani, Tree Gong Healer. I'm also Tree Gong Healer on Instagram. And I have a website that is practiceselflove.com. Those are probably the three easiest ways to find me.
This has been absolutely magical. And you know what? Who knows? We get together and we never know what's going to unfold, but it unfolds in the way that it is, you know, divinely designed to unfold, I guess. And that's what really is important for all of us to understand, is we all have a divine alignment that's happening. I'm not going to say purpose, because we have a divine alignment that's occurring. And if you go back and you re-listen to this, really feel into the energy of the process that Keira did with you, and understand how important it is for that connection with self, and then as well with all that is out there. And thank you so much for being here, Keira. It's been such a pleasure with you.
Oh, I wanted to also let everyone know, next week at this same time, Sandra is going to be my guest, and you can come over to Keira Lani Tree Gong Healer on Facebook. And I will also be streaming onto my YouTube channel, which I didn't mention earlier. So also Keira Lani, I think it's now Keira Lani Tree Gong Healer on YouTube as well, but definitely Keira Lani for sure. So if you're more into the YouTube, you can also come watch over there on YouTube.
And you know what really helps us to get the word out among other people is if you actually like and share what you see. If it resonates with you, like it and share it. And like our YouTube channels, because that really helps spread the word as well. Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate your being here.
Thank you so much.